Hey Mixers, welcome back to another NFL video. I am filming this right before the Thursday games are going to kick off, well, a couple hours before, so we will not be able to review our picks from that game, but I do have some early picks for you on the Sunday slate and Monday slate, so let's jump into those. All right, so our first bet here, we're going to go back to this. We bet this last week. I just want to say also that I don't like a lot of the matchups on this week's slate, so I am betting a little bit lighter than I normally do. Normally, I probably will wager at least 10 units a week, probably more. And, not just on NFL, but on WNBA and also college football. This week, it's probably going to just be like, I don't know, probably less than that is all I'm saying. Anyway, we're going to go back to this on Jordan Mason over 16.5 longest rush. It did clear for us. He had 24. He's over in 8 of 9 games where he played more than 50% of the snaps. That's going back to last year when he was filling in for Christian McCaffrey. The Steelers, specifically, who they're playing this week, in Ireland, they have allowed Breece Hall to go over this line and Kenneth Walker to go over this line. The Patriots did not get over this line with any of their running backs, but he just has a really good track record here. So as long as he's the lead back, we're going to continue to just roll with this one. Also in Ireland, where it's going to be a little bit rainier probably. I don't know if it's going to be raining or not. I don't know what it's going to look like, right? But all I know is, they may keep it more on the ground, and so he might have more opportunities to get this. All right, next here, this prop is not up yet, so I don't know if they will put it up. Maybe just the day before they'll put it up. But Will Reichard and Chris Boswell together for the combo over 50.5 longest field goal. Will Reichard has kicked a 50-plus field goal in every single game this year so far, 3 for 3. And Chris Boswell has kicked 2 of them, but they were both in the same game. Last year, Chris Boswell kicked 13 for 15 over the 17-game stretch. And then Reichard was 8 for 11 in the 17-game stretch. So these kickers both tend to kick long field goals and make them. The Steelers do take a lot of field goals. And I expect this game will be a low-scoring game where the coaches do choose to take some field goals. So if this doesn't pop up, then we could pivot to field goal yards, combined field goal yards over 130, 140. That's usually where it pops up around. Usually it's 120. But I expect for these two kickers, it's going to be higher. And I'd still like the over. Or, sometimes they'll give us the field goal combo over 3.5 field goals made between the both of them. And it can be from any distance. So I like any of those bets. I just want to have something on these kickers. And if they don't have any combo props, I'll probably just end up going in on both of them separately. All right, Bucky Irving over 12.5 longest rush. In games where Bucky played 40% of the snaps or more, he's over this line 100% of the time in home games. He missed twice in away games, but he is at home for this one. He is over in one career head-to-head game at which he had 15 in a home game versus the Eagles. So I do like this spot as well. The Eagles have not really been allowing people to necessarily get long rushes here, but 12.5 is honestly not that much. So I think that Bucky Irving can pull off just, one explosive run. Doesn't have to be a 20-yarder. It can just be 13 yards here. All right, and then you're going to laugh at me, guys, but we're going back to Ricky Pearsall. When you cash on a player, you ride them because you've already made so much money on them that if they burn you 1 week, it's no big deal. So we have cashed on Ricky Pearsall every single week. So this will be the 4th week that we are betting on him to go over 66.5 receiving yards. Well, to go over his yardage. Because in this game where he only had 56, his line was only 53.5. So he's gone over every single time. 100% of the time. So this specific line, he's been over 4 out of the last 5 games, going back to last year. The number 1 wide receiver in every game went over this line, and 2 wide receivers went over 100. Or sorry, 2 of the number 1 wide receivers went over 100. Is that right? Yeah, that's right, against this team. So Carolina, Teteroa McMillan had 68 yards in week 1 against this team. And then Cincinnati, Jamar Chase had 165 yards. Nico Collins had 104 yards. And remember, I told you could ladder Nico Collins up to 100, which I did do, but I paired it with a promo and it ended up not cashing for me. That was for plus 272, something like that. If you just straight bet it. So I think the same here with Ricky Pearsall. I wouldn't necessarily ladder it up to 100. We've gotten pretty lucky with a couple of 100-yard games already this season. And I think Brock Purdy might probably be coming back for this game. Also, Ricky Pearsall is listed as probable, so I don't know what's going on with him, but I do expect him to play. Juwan Jennings may or may not play. I don't know. But either way, I really like this spot for Ricky Pearsall as the outside number one wide receiver. I mean, he plays all over the field, but the outside number one wide receiver has gone over this line all 3 weeks so far against this Jacksonville team. So this line is just insane to me. All right, Daniel Jones over 214.5 passing yards. He's had well over this line in the 3 games so far against easy teams where he has not really needed to pass. So, excuse me, I'm trying to choke myself on my own spit here. In a game where he actually does have to pass, a lot of people think the Colts are going to be losing this game. So if that is true and he's playing from behind, then he actually will have to pass. And I don't know how he doesn't get 250 yards here. So I think this is a ladder spot. Obviously, the Rams are a very good team, but the Colts do have a good offensive line. So I don't think that Rams pass rush is going to be able to get to Daniel Jones as much as everybody else thinks. And also, we know Daniel Jones is a mobile quarterback, so he's used to scrambling. Maybe he can scramble and just rush, or maybe he can scramble and throw a pass. So I love this spot for Daniel Jones. All right, Rashid Shaheed, this is a bonus bet. So I saw this for plus money, but it is dropping fast. Just do it like a normal line, which I would probably wouldn't take this for a normal line. It's okay. But I just liked the plus money that I saw on this for over 3.5 receptions. He's gone over this 100% of the time this year so far, although he barely cleared it in the last 2 games. I also like the yardage as a lean, so we'll discuss that as well. But the Bills here should be allowing, the Saints to throw on them. And the Bills like to also play 2 high safeties, keep everything in front of them. And so I think Rashid Shaheed can clean up here a little bit with a few receptions. And, Juwan Johnson's going to get his receptions, of course. Chris Olave is going to get his. I do think Rashid Shaheed is one of the better players on the team, and I do think they're going to try and get him the ball because he's probably one of the fastest players on the team. So if you can get him the ball, maybe he can make a big play out of it. All right, the lean here, which I will be betting on both of these probably. Rashid Shaheed over 32.5 receiving yards. He's over this 100% of the time this year. The Bills are a tough secondary, but like I just told you, they play 2 high safety. So if Rashid Shaheed can just catch some shorter passes, I think he'll be able to go over this line with 3 or 4 catches. Similar players like Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins, and Jalen Waddle were able to clear this line. So I don't know. I like it. I do think that the Saints are going to just have a really bad game one of these days. Rattler has really been taking care of the ball. But there's going to be a bad turnover game for the Saints, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was this one. But I'm going to roll with Shaheed. All right, Cam Ward is another lean that I have over 185.5. This is starting to go up to 190, I saw. He has not hit this in the first 2 games, but he did hit it in the recent game. All 3 of the quarterbacks who have played this team have been over this line, well over this line. I mean, they're better quarterbacks, obviously, Matthew Stafford, Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence. But it just goes to show you, I mean, Trevor Lawrence isn't really playing that well, and he still was able to clear this line. So Cam Ward's completion percentage has gone up significantly from week 1 to week 3. So he was at 42.9, 57.6, and 60.5. And in that 60.5 matchup, that might have been, the toughest matchup that they've had so far. So he has been improving. I do think that he can clear this line. And actually, I have them on the spread, I think. So I think I also sprinkled on them to win the game outright here. So the Texans have just been so bad. And I don't know if they can get any better. So, yeah, I'll take the Titans here. All right. I have a lean for Drake London over 5.5 receptions. He hasn't exactly been consistent this year, but Michael Penix hasn't been consistent, so that's been part of the problem. So he's over this line 50% of the time with Penix, going back to last year as well. He does play worse on the road, so it's less than 50% on the road, but he is over 100% of the time head-to-head. One of those games was with Penix in an away game, and one was with Cousins in a home game. This is the Commanders that we're talking about. And then I also like a ladder for Drake London up to 99.5 receiving yards for about +3, a little over +300. These are his head-to-heads. So he's over this line 100% of the time versus the Commanders. Once was with Kirk Cousins at home and once with Penix away. And then this Commanders secondary just gave up 145 yards to Trey Tucker last week. They gave up 124 to Tucker Kraft in week 2, and they gave up 71 to Malik Neighbors. So if Malik Neighbors has probably had a better quarterback, he probably would have gone over 100 as well. We know, I mean, if you go back and watch that game, Malik Neighbors was getting super frustrated about it. He was open a lot in that week 1 game against the Commanders. And so I think he easily could have cleared 100 yards. Now, Drake London and Michael Penix both have not been consistent, but I just love this spot here, and I will be betting it. I don't know if I'm going to bet the entire ladder, like all the way up. I'm probably just going to bet this one, with like a free pick, basically, paired with it on a DFS app, because I don't live in a state where I can just straight bet this, and I don't have time to go out of town again before Sunday. Well, maybe I will, but anyway, regardless, I will be betting this. All right, so here is the best bet summary. Just want to say again that I don't like a lot of the matchups here this week. So I've been very selective on my picks. That doesn't mean they're good picks. It just means that I've been selective. So I'm worried that a lot of games are not going to go as planned here. So anyway, these are the picks. You can screenshot them if you want to. If you want to get in for the cash giveaway, just let me know 2 of the best bets. There's 5 of them here, or you can choose the bonus bet. So 2 out of these 6 bets that you like, that you think are going to hit, and if they do, then you will be in for the cash prize giveaway with everybody else whose picks are also correct. And then don't forget to just let me know in general what you think about football, what you think about any of these teams, any of these players. I love chatting football with all of you guys. Thanks.